Here's Mike McCarthy, coach of the Cowboys, after the game, talking about arguably the best performance ever from Dak Prescott.
As good as I've seen, that's for sure. I think just like anything, he's so consistent in everything he does, and like you said, we had a couple plays there early, but I mean he was on it the rest of the evening. I thought he was Kellen and the play calling. We just really stayed true to what we wanted to do in here, and like I said, I thought he played extremely well and stayed aggressive and took the check downs. I thought he had great command of the offense and excellent presence in the pocket.
Love that old school Cowboys logo on McCarthy's hoodie, and Prescott playing like an old school Cowboys quarterback. Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman. I mean, that was a night that Prescott, if it sticks, that was a night he entered a next level. And I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but we can't just assume that it's going to continue. We have to see it again. He plays like he did last night. They're going to give the 49ers everything they can handle next Sunday. But we just have to see if they can muster that, if they can harness that, if they can go back to the lab and come up with the same kinds of things that will trick the 49ers that managed to trick the Buccaneers last night. But, man, it really was great. First player in the history of the franchise to have 2 or more passing touchdowns and 1 or more rushing touchdowns in a playoff game, and his passer rating of 143.3, nearly twice what Tom Brady's was. That's the highest in a playoff game in Dallas Cowboys history, and they have a storied playoff history, as we all know, but the story has been on pause since 1995, and that was their first road win in the playoffs, Chris, in 30 years. That's how long it had been since they had left home and won a playoff game.
Right?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. 49ers, NFC Championship game, 1992 season, right? January of 93, the first of the 3 Super Bowls for the Dallas Cowboys. It's crazy to think a franchise like that, the first one, first road playoff game since then. But, Prescott was amazing. And 2, not – I think the more impressive thing about it is it wasn't like huge 80-yard plays last night that got them, over 400 yards of total offense. That's where, again, I go to like systematically dominating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just completions for 10 and 12 and 15 and 8 and 10. And, here's a little run for 8 with Tony Pollard. And they had it all going. And they're a momentum team. We know that. I do think this is one where, Mike, like to your point from a little bit ago, they're going to ride this momentum. This won't be I think they like the bar being up there, and they're going for it. I do think that group has that way about them, and they're going to ride this wave, which is going to be exciting about them going into San Francisco, no doubt. But, hey, like we talked about with Tampa, that we saw what we kind of saw all year from Tampa. That's what they were. I think we kind of forgot what we saw from Dallas all year because we let the last 2 games kind of influence our brains here a little, right? We had the Tennessee game. Yeah, Tennessee's not playing any starters. They controlled the game, but it was kind of lackluster on Thursday night. The Washington game. Yeah, okay, they had something to play for, but did they? I mean, come on. They were aware that the Giants were playing backups against Philadelphia, and the score of that game was 19-0 pretty early on. And it's hard to get up for that. But let's not forget about the stretch they had before that, where they were dominant. And, I mean, you can go back to, Lions week 7 and that little stretch they hit there all the way up until the Philadelphia win at home on Christmas Eve to go, no, we saw Dallas through that period there play some really good football. Yeah, they lost to the Packers, and Dak threw 2 dumb interceptions in that game. But other than that, we were having thoughts of, they're definitely one of the best teams in football. I think they reminded us that last night. And they were clearly, like we were talking about, in another clash from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we'll see if they can keep that going against the 49ers.
But that's the key. They have to keep doing it. They have to string it together. You got to do 2 more of these to get to the Super Bowl and 1 more of these to get to where you haven't been since 1996 January, the NFC Championship game, the last time they advanced to the Super Bowl, beat the Steelers that year. That was the year that they beat the Packers, a year before the Packers won a Super Bowl.
Packers upset the 49ers.
Steelers over the Colts and Jim Harbaugh, a game that I attended, and
Right.
the fateful final Hail Mary was right down below where I was sitting for that one. And that's the last time they were in. That's just still, every year that goes by, it becomes harder to accept. It's been that long since the Dallas Cowboys, one of the most storied franchises in the NFL, hasn't played for the right to go to a Super Bowl. 1995 season, early 96, and they get a chance to reverse it coming up here on Sunday night.
Yeah, they got Super Bowl caliber players. They do. And we saw last night game plan specific stuff from the offensive side of the ball. We saw Dan Quinn do some interesting things on the defensive side of the ball. He's always creative that way. They executed. They out-physical Tampa Bay. Mike, they did all the little things. Even second half, they're dominating the game 24-0, Mike. My brother, Matt Simms, he texts me. He's like, man, he's like, it's the third quarter, and he's like, Dallas, the running backs, they're staying in bounds. Like, they're cognizant of the clock already. He's like, that's pretty good. Way to go, Mike McCarthy. And I was like, damn, you're right. They have. They made a conscious effort on a lot of running plays to stay in bounds and realizing the spot in the game in which they were in and how they were going to execute that. But, Dallas, smothered Tampa Bay.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.